Hi and welcome to my channel. My name's Teresa and I'm the car boot crafter, and I am so excited that you're here today to join me as I make an accordion storage purse. So hopefully you've already seen the short video I put up, which is the finished product. So hopefully you've already seen that, you know where we're heading, and I love that you've come back to join me in actually making it. So I'm going to give you the shopping list, but this is a Let's Craft Together video. So if you want to put it on pause after I've shown you the shopping list, then please do so, and then we can craft along together. I'll try and make it not too quick, so that we can do that and you can keep up. Without having to keep stopping and starting the video. I know I do sometimes with some of the craft along videos that I watch for other people. Anyway, so let's do the shopping list first. So you'll need some chipboard. This is whatever thickness you want, it's entirely up to you, but these are the measurements. I'm doing these all in inches today. I know sometimes I do centimeters as well, but this time it's all in inches. So you'll need some chipboard, one piece that measures 3 by 9 inches, two pieces that measure 2 by 9 inches, and then you'll need two pieces that measure 6 by 9 inches as well. And that's the chipboard you need, nice and simple. And the rest is paper or thin card. So I'm using the Refreshing Basics, and I've been trying to stash bust this pack for a little while now, and because we're using quite a lot of papers, and that's just a sort of a forewarning that there's a lot of papers involved, but I've still got some scraps, but I'm down to just two pieces of 12 by 12, so I've got rid of most of this pack now, thank goodness. So let's pop that to one side and get into the papers that you'll need. So I'm using all pattern paper from the pack, but some of these you can have patterned or you can have plain, entirely up to you. So for starters, you will need your dividers for inside, and you'll need 6 of these measuring 8.5 by 5.5. And these can be, I've done these patterns again to use up my papers, but you can use plain papers or plain card if you want to. But you'll need 6 of those that are 8.5 by 5.5. And to do the concertina down the sides that hold our dividers in place, you'll need 2 large pieces, and these measure 12 inches by 5.75, and you'll need 2 of those. And I've used fancy paper, but you don't have to. This can very definitely be plain paper if you want to. So I'll pop those to one side, and that will probably be in our next video, how to put that together, because as most people know, I'm on my mobile phone and we only do about half an hour, unfortunately, on that. Right, so to cover the top of our storage purse, so to do the flap over, you'll need 2 pieces, and I'm doing mine the same patterns, but they don't have to be. This one can be a different one to that one. This is the outside one, and this measures 11 by 8.5, and then this one, which we're going to use to cover on the inside, this one measures let me just get this right, 8.75 by 5.75. okay, and then you'll need, so to cover the outside of your chipboard, you will need 2 pieces of 12 by 12 papers, and what you'll do with one of them is cut 2 inches off, and this will be for the handle. Okay, so 2 12 by 12s, but one has got that 2-inch cut off. And then for the inside, to cover the inside of our little storage purse, you will need 3 pieces, one of which is 2 3/4 by 8 3/4, and then the other 2 are 5 3/4 by 8 3/4, and these are to cover inside the purse. Okay, so that's your shopping list. So if you want to craft along with me, and you need to run off and get all your papers cut, please pause the video now before I get into the next stage of how to put this all together. Okay, right, so with your 12 by 12 papers, you've cut your 2" off. We're going to pop that to one side. Let's move our chipboard out the way because we don't need all of those. Then what you're going to do is decide which is the front and which is the inside. So this is going to be inside. So what I need to do is to join these two together. So I've got some tape, and I'm going to use some tape and some glue because I don't trust the tape on its own. I think most people that know my channel know that I always double up with double-sided tape and glue. So I'm just going to run that down there, and that will hold it in place as well while the glue dries. So let's get some scissors and cut that off like that. Well, that's a bit on the wonk, isn't it? I must take that into consideration when I join them together. Take the backing off, and I'm going to get some glue as well and run that down there as well, just so as we've got a really good contact and really holds together like that. Okay, nearly there. So once I've done that, I'm going to use the grid lines on my scoreboard. So I'm just lining them up on that grid line, and this is to help me make sure that I get a nice straight join here. Okay, so I'm going to overlay this one like that. Go over a little bit more, I think. If I'm using my grid lines to try and keep everything lined up and straight. Let's do that again. Like that. I think that's straight. Where's my bone folder? I've put that somewhere safe. Don't know where that is though. Do you ever do that? Put things down in the craft room and the next thing you know you can't find it? Yep, I'm doing it all the time. So that's those two joined up, and now I need my 6x9s and my 3x9. Okay, so these are going to, and I want to move that over a little bit so I'm in the middle. Now my middle line where I've joined, that is not going to be in the middle of this middle piece, this the base, simply because I've cut 2 inches off the ends of this one. So I'm going to have to do that by eye. So let's grab some glue and get this stuck down. So a bit like if you're making a book or a journal for making the cover. So we're just going to put some glue all the way around our chipboard. Make sure it's well stuck down onto our paper. And I do like to use plenty of glue on this, although probably not too much because I don't want it to be too wet. So it's on there, but it's there's plenty on, but it's not on thick. I hope that makes sense. In my head it does, but right, so I've lined that up. Hopefully that's nice and straight. It'd be so much easier if I had my bone folder, wouldn't it? Not sure where I've put that. Right, I shall use this instead. My old spreader, that'll help to just make sure that there's contact all the way down on there like that. And then let's pop these ones on as well. Now these are nice and big, so make sure you put plenty of glue all the way around the edges to hold it in place. And what you want to do, because we're going to fold the these two sides up, a bit book-like. We want to make sure there's a gap between the two, but not too much of a gap. Just enough so that we can stand it up. It's not going to fold across like some projects have in the past. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my spreader just to make sure that those corners and edges have got a little bit of glue, especially the corners. There's some glue right up to those edges, like that. I'm not so fussed about the middle because that will be held down because the edges are held down. Right, and I'm going to pop that on here, but what I want to do is to have a little bit of a gap but not too much there. So let's make sure we're lining the top and the bottom up like that. Want that nice and straight, and it's nice because I've got these lines on here, which helps. So let's pop that on there, and I've got a little gap there. I'll grab my ruler, I can tell you how much. It's about 1/8 of an inch there in the gap, and then I'm going to use, I would use my bone folder if I could figure out where I'd put it. It will turn up 5 minutes after I've finished the video, of course it will. So that one, and then I'm going to do the same on this side. I do like doing these craft alongs because it means that we can craft together. And I know, as a crafter that loves to watch YouTube videos and craft along with the channel host, that it's much more fun if you're actually crafting together. I've done lots of things where I've watched the video, written the notes, and tried to watch the video as I'm making whatever it is that they're sharing. But you have to keep stopping and starting the video, don't you? So I do like a craft along video. Right, again, using my spreader, which does need a wash and a clean. Right, so I'm going to spread all in to get those corners and hopefully get those edges as well a little bit. And sometimes you can use the paper where you're gluing to sort of help with that, so that when I come off the paper there's glue on here, but that's okay because I'm going to be popping this on top as well. So again, I'm going to flip that over and try and get about 1/8 of an inch between those two pieces. There we go. Lay that flat. And again, I'm going to use my spatula to hopefully make sure that paper gets really good contact with the chipboard. So there we go. Right, once I've done that, I'm going to grab some big scissors, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim this down a little bit, just because when I fold things over, I don't want to have too much bulk when I fold things over. So let's carry on with that. Get rid of some of that. So that's a good size piece there, and the same on this side. Let's trim a piece off. Like that. There we go. So we've trimmed it down so it's much more manageable as well. So I can pop those to one side. And the next thing that we're going to do now is take some bulk out of these corners. So let me turn this around. Actually, oh, I can't fold it over, can I, just yet? It's still not quite dry. What we're going to do is we're going to cut that corner off, but we don't want to go too close to that chipboard because otherwise we end up with a hole. Now that is too far. We want to go closer than that. So we want to come about 1/8 of an inch away from there. So I can get rid of that. Let's go to the other one. And I'd rather do too far away and then come a little bit closer, than to go too close and ends up being too close and then I've ruined the whole project. There is a way of sorting that out if you do, and all you need to do in that case is take your corner that you've just cut off and then glue it in there, so that when you fold it in you don't see the raw chipboard. So that folds over like that, but I prefer not to have to do that if I can. I'm going to come ever so slightly closer with this one. So I want to take as much bulk out as I can, but I don't want to get too close to those corners. And the same with this one. I'm going to do this one next. Right, I've just had a nice coffee delivered, so that will help me in a minute. Right, okay. And again, with this corner, let's cut that one off. That's too far, so let's go a little bit closer. We're not too close. Yeah, that's better. About 1/8 of an inch. And with this one, let's do that again. So again, I'm too far away. I'd rather be too far away than too close. Let's come back in again and head for that 1/8 of an inch. Still a little bit too close, so I'm just going to take that little bit more off. There we go. Happier with that. Right, now then, next stage then is to start to bring these across. So I like to bring the chipboard up, give it an idea of where it's heading, and then bring your chipboard up and try and make sure that that lines are starting to fold over. There we go. That's starting to fold like that. And I'll do the other side. So let's bring that up like that. There we go. So we've got an idea of where it's going, and bring it and fold it all the way over like that. And then we're just going to do the two bottom ones as well. Let's give it an idea of where it's heading, and then bring that up like that and fold it all the way over. And last one, let's bring that up. It's quite a big project at this stage to manage, which means that you'll need plenty of room on your desk if you're crafting along with me. There we go. And bring that all the way over like that. Okay, once you've done that, we're going to now glue these down. So I am looking for, yes, I've got a ball tool. I can't find my bone folder, so I'm going to use a ball tool instead. Oh, hello. I've got this one. This one will do. Actually, I'll use both. So I'm going to get my ball tool and I'm going to go down there as well. And I need to go off just ever so slightly, just to crisp up that fold. Bring it over. Get that bone folder in there and really push that paper down so we've got a good fold there. Then I'm going to open it up and I'm going to use my wet glue, but of course you can have whatever you've got to hand. If you prefer to use double-sided tape, then go for it, but I'm going to use wet glue. It does take a little longer for the wet glue to grab, but I'm okay with that. And again, I'm using my spreader. Two reasons I like to use the spreader. One, it means that I've got glue on more of my paper, but also it thins the glue out a little bit. So what happens is that my glue dries a little bit quicker than it would if it was still in big chunks. So let's fold that down be really careful to get in between those two papers like that. Keep going all the way up, pulling it in so that we get a really nice crease all along there. Really nice edge. And then once you've done that, I get my bone folder and I come down the edge like that. And this just sort of squares off that edge a little bit, which gives it a bit more of a sort of professional finish sometimes than just it folding over. So there's that one side. Let's do the other. So turn it round. I like to do the long sides first. I know some people prefer to do the short side, so go with whatever works for you. Again, plenty of glue all the way down there. Oh, I forgot to get my ball tool in there. I've got plenty of time to do that while my glue gets tacky. So let's get that ball tool out and make that corner, that fold really sharp there, especially where I've got the double paper here where I've folded it across. So nice and sharp all the way down with the ball tool. Then I'm going to use my spreader to spread that glue around. I'm taking special care in those corners there right at the bottom because those need to adhere nicely. Get all those edges done, and then again at this end, let's be really careful making sure we get a really good contact with the glue, and then bring that across, bone folder in hand, and push that into the chipboard. There we go. And because we've spread it, look, it grabs straight away sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't, you know, but a lot of the time it will grab straight away like that because it's just that little bit thinner. Again, get the edge of your bone folder and push it along that edge. I'm on the blue, I'm on the mat, I'm not on the paper, and I'm just running it down that edge like that. There we go. Again, just run your bone folder over and in between where those papers are, those joins are, because this will help us in a bit with our fold. So do that. What it does is it stretches the fibres in this paper here all the way down to the back so that it will fold much more easier. And while it's ever so slightly wet with the glue, it does stretch a little bit easier. Right, there we go. Now let's work on our ends. So we've got a little bit of an overlap there, so I get my nail in there and just make sure that that's nice and flat and folded both sides like that. Or you can use your bone folder and get that in like that, flatten down just that tiny bit there that goes beyond the chipboard, and this is to hopefully get a nice nice corner on either side. It's a bit like hospital corners, a bit like making those hospital corners that we were taught to at school years ago. Get those in both sides, and then again get your bone folder, your ball tool in there. That can help as well to fold those corners down like that. Get that in, then get the glue on top like that, and I'm going to make sure that that is nice. It's got plenty of glue on so that it gets tacky, and let's spread that glue around into those corners and edges so that that will hold. And I'm going to fold that over like that, and hopefully those corners are nice and sharp now. Use my bone folder to push those down like that, and again get that edge done nice and squared off. like that. And then you see you end up with really nice squared off corners like that. Just take your time with doing that and you end up with a really nice result. Let's go to the other end, and again I'm just going to push that down, make sure that's folded that tiny little bit there. Just fold it down into the chipboard, and the same at this end, fold it down like that. Getting my ball tool, I'm going to run my ball tool along there as well, just making sure that that's all folded in. That had come up just a little bit there, so I'm just going to use my back of my ball tool to push that down again. So again, let's make that nice crease mark there like that. Get the glue in again, a little bit on that corner. We want to make sure that these corners, especially when they overlap onto the back of the other papers, are doing well. Whoops, a bit too much glue there. I can easily pick that up and move it. Okay, again, let's get that spreader in, spread it around. This is one I picked up in one of the children's craft departments somewhere, can't remember where, but I've had it for absolutely yonks. I think it's supposed to look like a fish. Oh, it says Early Learning Centre, but I've not noticed that for a long time, if I even knew. So Early Learning Centre. Are they still around? I don't know. Right, again, let's bring that over and bring the bone folder in to really get that contact there. Push that down. Let's get some nice corners on there and get that edge nice and squared off like that. There we go. Right, so that is the body of our purse done. So I'm going to just fold these now. So what I want to do is just carefully, now this paper is still a little bit damp, so we don't want to be too rough with it. So I just want to sort of encourage it to fold up like that. Let's be gentle with it because I don't want it to rip. So we end up with the body of our purse like that. So that's the start of our purse. That'll be the front of the purse. Now then, let's start on the flap bit. So I'm just going to pop this to one side and we can start on the flap. So that'll be over there drying. Oh, should we? Yes, the handle comes last. Right, so we'll bring in the flap. So these are the two papers I chose for the flap. So 11 and a half, oh no, 11 by 8.5 and 8 3/4 by 5 3/4. We don't need this one just yet, so I'll pop that to one side. This is going to be the inside of our purse. So put it so that your 8.5 is at the top and this is our 11.5. And what I'm going to do is glue these pieces in. Now, you'll need to watch carefully because we're not gluing them in the middle. Let me just put some glue on and then I'll show you where we want them to go. So again, plenty of glue on. And then I'm going to bring in my spreader so we can get those corners sorted. There we go. Spread it all around. Corners and the edges are the most important bits on this, so that we don't get any lifting when we glue it down. Now, right, so remember I said we're not putting in the middle? What you're going to do is come to one side and stick that down. I've left about 3/4 of an inch there. You can go slightly more if you want to. Let's move that up a little bit and then push that down. Let's get the bone folder on. There we go. And then this one is going to go right next to it. So there is method in the madness. And I will show you in a bit what that is. So there we go. Again, get the spatula to spread right to those edges so that they hold. I'm going to put a little bit more glue there, I think, and down this edge there so that these hold. Again, by spreading it like this, it gets tacky a little bit quicker, so it will dry a little bit quicker, which is really useful for me doing these videos. Right, I'm going to put a little bit, there's no glue in that middle bit, so let's get that done. Right, now this one you're going to do exactly the same as we did with the cover. We want about 1/8 of an inch between the two of them. So let's just line them up like that. I think that needs, oh, ever such a little bit more. Let's just pull it to one side. So the great thing with wet glue is you've got a little bit of wriggle room, and it is just the tiniest bit of a wriggle that I want to do there. So I'm holding it, reinforcing that like that. So as you can see, with this side, with this space here, and that is exactly what we want. Okay, let's push that down. If you've got time to give them a minute or two to dry, then please do so. And again, I'm bringing my scissors in because I want to mitre, but only these two corners. I'm not going to do these two. Just, well, I'm not going to do them, full stop. Right, again, I'm going to go in just a tiny bit more. There we go. And then I'll do this side as well. So I'm coming off. And yeah, just a tiny bit more. That should be fine. Like that. And again, what we want to do now is, I'm not going to lift them up because they're still a little bit tacky and wet, because there's only two of them and they're only little, so I don't think that they're going to have dried just yet. So again, let's fold those over. So that one's fairly easy. These ones you're going to have to fold all the way down, so you can use the chipboard here as your guide and hopefully follow all the way down as well. So I'm just pushing up to the chipboard like that, and then that comes down as well. So we're folding all the way down like that. Okay, so you end up with it looking like that, and exactly the same on this side. Let's bring it up using the edge of the chipboard as a guide to push against like that, and then the rest should